Can I be honest? One of the reasons I've started speaking more boldly, launching this new chapter, naming heart work properly, making my voice louder for those at the back, is because I'm watching too many brilliant HR leaders play small in rooms that desperately need their influence. Not because they lack capability, but because they've been typecast as compliance department with good intentions. And here's the risk. HR's biggest threat right now isn't compliance failure, it's irrelevance. In this episode, we're unpacking HR's identity crisis and why influence, not compliance, is the future of our profession. If you're ready to move from being technically brilliant to strategically impactful, this conversation is for you. Welcome to Hard at Work with me, Trina Sunday. This space is for HR leaders who care deeply about performance and equally deeply about people. For more than 25 years, I've been asking one persistent question. What are the real conditions for happiness at work? Because when humans come first, something deeper shifts. How people show up, how leaders decide, and how work feels. Here, we explore what it really takes to lead with courage, compassion, and clarity, and we pull up a chair to the conversations HR leaders don't always get to have. There's heart here, but there's also depth. If you're ready to build workplaces where people and performance thrive side by side, you're in the right place. Let's get to the heart of it. What if HR's biggest risk right now isn't compliance failure, but irrelevance? Across my career, both leading in-house HR functions and advising organisations globally, I've seen HR sit in one of the most paradoxical positions in modern organisations. We're responsible for shaping culture, driving engagement, enabling performance, yet we are often expected to do that work with limited authority and visibility at the executive table. That tension is not accidental. It's what I believe has created HR's identity crisis. When I first stepped into HR leadership roles 25 plus years ago, credibility was earned through risk management and compliance. Policies, procedures, governance frameworks created stability and they protected organisations from harm. And that work still matters. But over time, what struck me was this. Organisations rarely struggled because they lacked policy. They struggled because they lacked aligned leadership, cultural clarity, and courageous decision-making. I have worked with executive teams who had world-class compliance frameworks and still experienced toxic leadership, disengaged teams, and fractured culture. Compliance may have built credibility in the past, but it doesn't necessarily build influence in the future. Organisations now need HR leaders who can shape behaviour, guide executive conversations, and translate business ambition into people impact. Compliance is still essential, but it can no longer be the defining identity of our function. Influence is not about the hierarchy. It's not about our job title. It's built through credibility, commercial understanding, trust, strategic clarity. And some of the most influential HR leaders I've worked alongside were not the loudest voices in the room, not like me. They were the ones who could connect business outcomes with human impact in a way that leaders could not ignore. Influential HR leaders, they translate business strategy into human impact. They shape leadership behaviour, not just policy. They navigate complexity without losing perspective. They challenge respectfully but firmly, and they build alignment across competing priorities. Influence requires courage. It requires visibility. And it requires HR to step beyond traditional support roles and into strategic leadership. And I know from experience that that shift can be uncomfortable, but it is where the most meaningful impact happens. Because, like I said, the challenge is rarely capability. In fact, some of the most perceptive and strategically insightful professionals that I meet are HR leaders. They see patterns that others miss. They understand organisational culture in ways that most executive teams, or many executive teams, do not. The challenge is confidence and backing our own leadership voice. And when I reflect on my own early leadership journey and the hundreds of HR leaders I've coached and mentored since, there is a recurring pattern. Many of us were rewarded for being reliable, responsive, and diplomatic. We were taught to smooth tension, not to hold it, and to deliver solutions, not necessarily challenge direction. And today's complexity demands something different. We are navigating rapid technological change, shifting workforce expectations, public accountability, and leadership scrutiny at a pace most organisations were never designed for. So HR leaders like you are being asked to balance commercial performance with psychological safety. We've got to lead the restructures but protect the culture at the same time. We want to champion diversity and equity while managing the resistance to it and translate workforce data into decisions without losing humanity in the numbers. We also want to influence executive direction without always holding formal authority. The stakes are higher, the visibility is greater, and the margin for missteps, quite honestly, is smaller. And yet the old operating model for HR, be reliable, be responsive, be supportive, it's no longer enough. Organisations need HR leaders who can hold the tension in the room, who can ask the harder question, who can connect commercial strategy with human reality without flinching. That requires a shift in identity, not just a skill set. And this shift is not about abandoning compliance. It's about expanding your leadership stance. It means strengthening commercial fluency so your voice carries weight, building deeper executive relationships before you need them, developing confidence to challenge assumptions constructively, and leading culture and leadership conversations, not simply implementing decisions. I often describe this as moving from being the function that protects the organisation to being the function that shapes the future. It's moving from game player to game changer. And this is grow and influence. It's something that you develop, you grow, you learn over time. It's intentional. It is learnable. And the most effective HR leaders of the future will not be defined by process expertise alone. They'll be recognised for their ability to influence how organisations think, lead and perform. And some of the most inspiring organisational transformations that I've witnessed did not begin with structural redesign or policy change. They began when HR leaders stepped into courageous influence and helped leadership teams see people strategy as business strategy. Compliance protects organisations, but influence transforms them. And HR has both the power and the responsibility to step into that transformation. And the question is not whether HR can lead differently. The question is whether we're willing to. Let me say this clearly for those at the back. HR does not lack intelligence. We lack permission to lead boldly, permission from others, but really permission from ourselves. And I'm done watching brilliant HR leaders shrink themselves to fit outdated expectations. And that's why this new chapter of my work is louder. And if you're ready to move from compliance thinking to courageous influence, then my 10-week Game Changer HR Leader program, it launches the week of April 20. It's virtual, it's global, and it's for HR leaders who are done playing it safe and ready to shape direction, not just execute it. And places are intentionally limited. And if you're in Perth, join us on July 2 for the Hard at Work Unconference. No panels, no posturing, just bold, human-first conversations that actually move the profession forward. If you feel the shift happening in HR, register your interest at trinasunday.com. It's a new future for our profession. Are you in? Thanks for spending time with me. If this conversation challenged you, clarified something, or simply reminded you that you're not the only one holding the tension between people and performance, then it's done exactly what it was meant to. This work isn't easy, but it is necessary. HR has a new future, and it leads with heart. So if you found value here, subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Share this episode with someone who also believes that work can be better. And if you want to go deeper, you can explore the Heart Work model, the programs, and the growing community of HR leaders at trinasunday.com. Because when HR leads with clarity, courage, and compassion, it doesn't just change workplaces, it changes lives. Until next time, keep asking better questions, keep backing your voice, and keep putting humanity at the center of performance. Let's keep heart at work.